It's the motherfucking player haters. Oh, yeah.
Player haters.
I'm back. Basically, I'm just back from vacation or wherever I was. Thank you to Mr. Walker for filling in for me while I was out. Appreciate that, big dog. Much love, much love. Thank you very much. Let's get into it, shall we? Week 13 has come and it is gone. And there was some separation that was made. And then who knew that you could lose and then end up being the number one ranked team because the number one ranked team took a huge loss. Now, Jason, look, let's be real here. That was a close matchup in a lot of categories. So, and the fact that you and I did not even get a win until I believe it was Friday from either pitching staffs is a little crazy. And it could have come down to a relief pitcher getting a win. I was watching one of the Braves games, and I think I mentioned it in the chat that Iglesias could have easily gotten a win. Obviously, did not happen that way in that matchup, but that's how close it was. Razor thin. And then yesterday rather, bench Bryce Terang. He hits a grand slam on my bench, and that made Sunday Night Baseball, again, very interesting. It is so crazy that we go through a 6-day period accumulating stats, and it always comes down to Sunday and really Sunday Night Baseball. And I didn't have one player, not a Baltimore Oriole and not a Texas Ranger. And I saw that Mountcastle, so I was like, okay, but you got the best catcher in the league with Adley Rutschman, and then Adolis Garcia, who finally woke up for you this week. It was a little nerve wracking. So, yes, if you guys are wondering, there is the lovely Ray behind me. She is training on her newly acquired job. So, cheers to Ray. She's doing some training and stuff. So, but let's get into it. Week 13, man alive. Okay, so let me start with what I'm looking at here at the bottom. Brian, I don't know what you've done, but you have apparently Christ like powers where you just speak, kind of like Jesus did with Lazarus, and you spoke your team into resurrection. Because, my friend, you have arisen. You have arisen. You have rebirthed your team. And his name is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Wow. He's bounced around a little bit, and that dude went off last week. 6 runs, 4 home runs, and 17 ribbies. Eric, your team didn't even get 17 ribbies altogether. That's how crazy this was. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. got 4 home runs. Eric's team got 4 home runs. Holy shit balls. Everyone else was just a contributing factor. He was your lead role. Everyone else was just a supporting cast. It was like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was John Wick for you last week, and everyone else was just either somebody that was being murdered or helping him along. But Vladdy was murdering baseballs last week. My gosh. I am genuinely concerned for the fact that now my team is lacking the first base position and this first baseman is reborn. And then let's, not forget Carlos Correa. I mean, free of charge for you. You picked him up off waivers. But again, you've spoken your team into existence, and you now have like Minnesota Twins that are hitting, and Miranda and Correa. Uh, you know, you've just got a decent staff put together that is going to give you qualifying numbers. On the flip side, you've got Eric over here, and Eric last night, after facing yet another loss, he's starting to revamp his team. Now, me personally, I don't know if it's going to work. He went and traded for Austin Riley and got rid of Joe Ryan. I expressed my concern last night to my cousin via text, saying that you just crippled your pitching staff. Now, we've all seen the pitchers out there is a desert. There is nothing out there, and do not be fooled. If you see some good stats by a pitcher, it's a mirage. Okay, you're walking towards something that is not real, in my opinion. This, what he's doing, I'm not sure. Number one, with Eric, I don't believe that anyone is going to buy the players you're selling. Bellinger, look, he had a season last year. We just don't know. I can only imagine that what he has done to his own batting technique over the years with tinkering and switching things up from what he did as a Dodger to then what he did to just bring him crashing and burning. There's got to be some cross wirings in his system to where he might switch back once in a while, back to his old ways, and then back to his other ways, and then just cross pattern. And it's not going to work. And it hasn't really worked. And your other names out there, I mean, yeah, Nolan Arenado is going to provide you something here, something there. But for the most part, is it really worth the asking price? I don't think a lot of people are going to hear your arguments anymore of this player can because he once did. This is a what have you done for me lately kind of atmosphere. And it's clear you have them on your team, and these are the results that are being given. You're being destroyed by people that, again, Brian has names: Duran, Happ, Correa. Those are all guys that are similar to your guys. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if depleting your pitching staff, because you offered up Burns as well, and your hope is that you, Darvish, and Blake Snell are going to do something for you. Because have you not seen that they have not? Blake Snell he's just an injury risk right now. And before the injury risk, he was also unreliable. And you, Darvish, somewhat same thing. I mean, the Padres are just hoping that they get the you, Darvish of old one game so that they can try to stay relevant in the standings. I don't know, man. I mean, I realize that you have to do something, but I just don't know if what you did was right. Because now you're right now your team is overloaded at third base. And if you're hoping that Bregman and Arenado do actually turn into the third baseman that they once were, where are you going to put them? And they're probably just going to be collecting stats down there. I don't know what you're going to be able to do, in my opinion. But anyways, I know I spent a lot of time on that matchup, but Brian, I just wanted to give you kudos, man. This week is every week moving forward. People need to be aware of your team, and I think they are. But you went out and picked up Myers from Milwaukee. That kid looks like he's got it put together. Max Fried. I have to retract my statement on Mister Max Fried. That dude has turned into boss mode. You've got Talion. Um, Luis Yill, I mean, I would imagine that if he has one more blow up, the Yankees are probably going to be like, we're going to give you some time offs, maybe skip you in the rotation, maybe put him in the bullpen. I don't know. But you've got Singer that's doing great things. You traded for Barrios. Valdez, I mean, he's going to give you some here and there. And then Justin Steele, I mean, you've got a decent pitching staff that will keep you in the runnings for sure. Granted, that's where you lacked this past week, but don't mistake, you pitched 20 more innings than Eric. So he was able to maintain that 2.57 ERA, and it helped him. But he lost clearly in strikeouts and in quality starts because he doesn't have a bolsterous pitching staff. I said I was done with y'all's matchup, and I kept going. The other matchup that I wanted to, well, not talk about, but we'll just look at, Mandalorians beat Bro in Hitman 7-4. Let's see. Mandalorians, they're, I don't know. I want to say that Scott is probably regretting trading for Matt Olson, but I don't know. I mean, at some point, I guess when you're just at the bottom, you just kind of accept fate. Still, I don't know. I mean, to trade away somebody that is clearly doing almost top 5 results and has been all season for somebody that may be able to at least duplicate what they did last year, but in no way, shape, or form has proven that they will. I don't know. Just, but Mandalorians made the trade. I know we're bringing it back up. I'm sorry, Shane. I'll get off your lawn real quick, but I don't know. It was what it was. So, and then Sean in the wait. I'm missing here. Wait, Sean, you had Otani. Excuse me, Bro Scott did not. Bro Scott just lost. Didn't he lose? It's not showing me injury. Oh, he has Juan Soto. Okay. So Scott is holding on to, which I mean, he's got good people on his team. Ozzy Albies, that whole Atlanta staff is just not what they were last year. And it is showing through. And you're just, this season, I don't know. They're going to hold on to that playoff spot. Maybe. Um, but 7-4 was the victor for Scott, but no change in their status right now. I haven't looked at the standings right now. I can't really say for definitively that Scott and Sean are out of the running, but from my understanding, just looking at it, it appears that like Scott is probably right at about 32 games, 30 games back from Nick, who is in 6th place. You are going to need miracle wins of like 10-0 for 5-6 weeks coming down the stretch, and I just don't see that happening. But I don't. I think it's a little too soon to bury somebody, but I don't know. Unless you make trades, I just don't see it happening. All right, so last week we saw Walker play Nick. Walker, you did not do the Lord's work. Okay, I don't know why, but we've basically I've dubbed the Lord's work of defeating Nick. Okay, because he's in front of me right now, and you did not. Um, you just did not do the Lord's work, and for whatever reason, my computer is not working, so I can't pull up the stats right this second of your matchup. But Nick beat you 7-5. I think early on, you pointed out, now the site cannot be reached. That's cool. That is just neat. Oh, now I have no internet. That's even cooler. Neato. All right. Well, guess we gotta go to the old cellular device where Here we go. Oh, look. It's my first time opening the app, and it just congratulated me for beating Jason. Let's get in there. Let's go to league. And then let's. All right, what am I missing here? There we go. Week 13. Apologize for this great radio, right? And there we are. All right, so yeah, this was just a destruction on Nick's part. I mean, beat you by 3 home runs, the RBIs, 12 runs, close in the average, very close in the OBP. But again, you know, we've seen this time and there it is. Hi, welcome back. We've seen this time and time again with your team, Walker. You're dominant in pitching, you're subpar in your batting, and you pick up a stat here and there, and your pitching and your couple of stats merge together, and you're a 7-5. You remind me of Paul Goldschmidt. You'll bat 1 for 4 every day. Might just be a hit, but that's all you need. 1 for 4. And we'll talk about my move here in a second because I got such a uproar. Anyways, so Walker, you did not do the Lord's work. You did not pull out a batting stat at all, and quite frankly, I mean your batting was without a doubt. You traded away somebody that just 2 weeks ago you thanked me for giving you because he provided you a victory, and he provided you 2 home runs this week and 4 runs. Now, granted, neither were enough to give you the victory, but I don't see your logic. Again, it's just you. You're going to bolster your pitching staff and you're going to have a surplus. I already see it. It's already written in stone. This is exactly what's happening. Yamamoto is going to come back. Rodriguez is coming back. Devin Williams is coming back. Those are 2 of 3 players that you have on the IL. You're going to have way too many pitching. Gavin Williams is going to come back. You're going to build their stock. And because pitching is at such a desert, like I said earlier, you're going to be standing there with cups of water. Come on, people. Trade me your bats, and this is going to be you. You're going to trade away pitchers that are not of high value in your opinion. You're not trading away Cole, Lopez, Bradley, but you are going to trade away Castillo, Williams. You probably entertain like Rodriguez, and now you have Joe Ryan. I know you, man. I know you like the back of my hand. And guess what? We, as the people wandering in the desert looking for pitchers, we will oblige. Trust me, because we want to stay relevant as well. And you will turn that entire batting into something more fitting. That's just me. That's my thoughts on you. So there you go. But you lost 7-5, but you're now first place in the league. And I've got to hurry the fuck up. I got 11 minutes. Bench warmers took down Jesus. This was a pretty close matchup. Jesus took only 3 stats, and they were close as well. Saves plus holds. He won by 1. He won by 2 runs. He won by 2 home runs. Look at the difference. The 2 home runs were the 2 runs that he needed to take that stat. If not, Josh might have just really taken this one even bigger. But close in categories, like I said, RBIs, not in stolen bases, kind of close in average. OBP, a little bit more. Josh had him, but strikeouts by 5, 2 very high ERA. So whoever had the lowest high number, and quality starts, Josh took that. Josh is just getting um, he's getting decent stats batting from everybody all around. Now Pete Alonso. How about the Mets, man? They just really have awoken. And again, the Braves need to watch the fuck out. But Jesus, he reminds me of Scott. Okay, he's holding on to the one guy that is his offensive guru on his team, and why not? I mean, he's a great player. Gunnar Henderson, he's his guy. I mean, can't deny what he's been doing for his team, and he's just been picking up a stat here and there from other players. And the 2 home runs that Luis Robert hit, or now he has Salvador Perez, who decided to wake back up. Good for him. But yeah, you can tell Josh is probably a little agitated with guys like Gosman. Aaron Nola's always flip flopping. Nathan Eovaldi, but again, I see a future trade coming down the road with one Josh and Walker. You watch. Wait and see. Stay tuned. One big blow up, one big matchup last week is, again, I made a proclamation probably several weeks ago. There will never be a day where Tripping Billies does not celebrate at least one home run. And he gave us 15 last week with 50 RBIs, 11 stolen bases. So, yin to yang. Shane is going to dominate the batting. He's going to, I don't want to say have a lackluster pitching because he had a great pitching week last week, but he is relying on names like Tanner Bybee and now resurgent Hunter Brown, and he got a great game from this Sanchez kid. Okay. He's also waiting for guys like Clayton Kershaw, Merrill Kelly, and Jacob deGrom to come back. If one of those 3 come back, Shane's got a really good chance of being the only team to beat. You guys have already said this. I mean, he goes out and picks up Nate Lowe because Harper goes down. When Harper comes back, which there's a projection of, he's going to have Nate Lowe and Harper. He's got Corey Seager. Corey Seager's day-to-day. He's going to come back. We've already mentioned. He's got Shohei Ohtani, Christian Yelich, Aaron Judge. He's got by far the best outfielder room, even though Shohei's not. I know he's a utility. He's lacking in a shortstop and second base, or third base. Not a problem. You don't need those when you have what you have putting up in Aaron Judge, who batted with a 524 batting average. I still do not understand. If Aaron Judge walks into the batter's box and you got a free base, send his ass to first. He's not stealing bases this year, is he? Like he was last year? I'm trying to pull up his stats. 5 stolen bases. Okay. I'd rather put that big man on first, or, put him on first, make him attempt to steal on me. Why you guys pitch to him, I don't know. It's crazy. Because Anthony Volpe ain't doing shit. I know Anthony hits before him, but anyways, Trippin' Billies, Shane, I know you. You're just sitting there. You've got the biggest shit-eating grin on your face every day because you're just going to hit a home run every day. And people may say, well, wait, that's not, it is a big deal. It's a huge deal. It's a huge deal to hit a home run every day. Because when you hit a home run, you obviously are building up average, you're building up OPB, but there's a good chance that there's a runner on, so therefore you're building every stat. People struggle to try it, especially in this market, to even get a home run. and missing one or benching one is a huge detriment to your week. Yesterday, when I seen Bryce Terang hit a grand slam, I was like, fuck, I missed one. But with you, man, it just doesn't, you plug one in and boom, you get another one. It's just, it's going to be frustrating for anybody that faces off against you. And I mean, I know you don't give a shit, but it's just, how did we end up here? How did we end up trading away our people for you to have such an offensive? I mean, you drafted Judge, okay, and I believe you drafted Yelich. But yeah, shame on me, I guess. Point the finger at me. But Ray just couldn't hang with you. I mean, Bobby Witt didn't do anything. Just guys, they did. Names like Westberg and Walker, they did for her, and O'Neill, and her pitching staff. Y'all can say what you want to. This Seth Lugo, he's real. Like, this is a real guy. He just went up against Cleveland, who was doing things, and he's getting really good strikeouts. I mean, he's doing things. He's ranked 8th in our league. Seth Lugo, who was free of charge, is doing things. So, I only got a couple minutes here. Let's get into it, Jason. I won't beat this, man. I mean, this was close. This was not an ass beating other than maybe the runs, average, and OBP. I won by 1 strikeout, and that was from a relief pitcher, and that was on the last day. I took you in saves plus holds. You didn't get one. Again, like I said, wins. It took us till Friday to get what we needed to get in that category. So, I know it's a 12-0. It's a true 12-0 if you want to look at it that way, but it wasn't a dominant one where it was mine from Jump Street. I just got good stats from guys like Ketel Marte and Devers, and Rengifo just had a resurgence. That boy hasn't hit a home run in probably a month. And I think I pointed out earlier in the week in the chat, about one of Shane's guy hadn't hit a home run in a month, and then Rengifo hits me too. So, but anyways, I know I said I'd mention, look, guys, you can only hold on to a player so long. And some of the people, like Eric, for instance, are holding on to name value. Sure, Paul Goldschmidt could come back and bite me in the fucking ass now that I've dropped him. But he's ranked 341. We just wrapped up 13 weeks of our season. That means we have, 9 weeks left in the regular season? How much longer should a person have to hold on to a guy that has a batting average of 225 and just gets you piddly little stats? When you play him, he does nothing. And when you finally bench him is when he does one or two things. He's just a guy now. That's all he is. I'm sorry. I love the guy. And by the way, Chris, you can be a fan president of somebody that has passed on. Just so you know, you can be, the George Michael fan club. I don't know why his name popped in my head at first, but I'm just saying it's okay to let go. Just let go. I'm sorry. I have to let go. I dropped Vientos after asking Walker to pick him up for me. I dropped Vientos. Look what that boy did. And I would have been playing him. You bet your ass I would have been. Look what he done. Just pull it up. Now, he didn't not do anything for me yesterday. I only won by 5 RBIs. He gave me 2 just yesterday. What'd Paul Goldschmidt do? I mean, I'm just saying, look, good for Scott for picking him up. But eventually you have to let people go. And unfortunately, I had to let him go. I'm not saying Mark Vientos is going to be better. I'm just saying I had to do something. And that's what I did. So I'm going to come back because I need a little bit more time to talk about next week. And I went over a little bit. So give me just a minute and I'll be right back. Okay. I'm bored. Wow, the new Grogu Lego toy? Yes! All right! Woohoo! This will stymie me for like 5 seconds. Now I'm bored again. Hello and welcome back. So, we wrapped up week 13, and let's look ahead now to this week's matchup. I think it's pretty fitting that myself and Brian face off this week. I think both of us are clinging to the idea that we might be able to make this. We might be able to make it. Brian, the problem is that the people in front of us, they're not wavering that much. And quite frankly, no offense to Sean, but he's not going to do the Lord's work for us this week in defeating Nick. Just don't see it happening. Nick's got way too many movable bat pieces in order to fill in the need. We obviously seen our number one team in our league unable to do the Lord's work for us last week. So I just don't see us being able to close the gap except for our own work. So we now face off against each other. Both of us are chasing the playoff dream. And then once you get there, we still have several weeks after to hold on to it. And I don't know why Nick is able to do what he's been able to do, but he's been able to do it. And so this week, Brian, you and I will face off, and this is going to be fun. I like it. Now, we can't bury the lead here. The matchup of the week is between Shane and Walker. Why? Because I just said yin to yang. Shane has all the bats. Walker has all the pitching. The best that both of these guys are going to be able to do for each other is tie. Not, for each other. For the sake of each other, you two give us a tie, 6-6. Prove me correct that one of you has all the pitching, the other has all the hitting. It's the matchup of the week because you're first and you're second, but it could very well be a precursor to, will this matchup yet again be the matchup that we're all left with to watch at season's end? And will it come down to a tie? Or will it come down to a 6-5 victory one way or the other? Who has the tiebreaker? I don't know you guys' other matchup, how it ended. I can effort that here in a second to see. Josh will face off against Scott again. Brian, fourth place team, facing off against 12th place team. Come on. Ray will face off against Eric. Again, I'm not saying Eric. I'm just saying what I'm saying. And then you've got Jason facing off against Jesus. See, Brian, we build a little steam, and then these guys get an opportunity to just build back what they just lost. So it's gonna be a struggle. And then looking ahead next week, again, you got Shane facing off against the Hitman and Sean. You've got Jason facing off against you, Brian. You got Rally Monkeys facing off against Eric. You see what I'm talking about here, okay? So, and then, of course, you got Josh and Nick facing off against each other, looking ahead to week 15. So, we are where we are with that. Let me see how I can find out. Let's look back at it. All right, yeah, I'm doing that pretty. Let's see. Shane versus. Where are you at? Shane versus. All right, we're getting to it. So, the first time these two teams faced off, Walker took down Shane 7-3. So, Shane's got to really win and win big this week in order for a potential face off between these two teams in a potential playoff. He's got to win big 8-2, 9-3 to have the tiebreaker. So it'll be interesting for sure. And of course, Shane's sitting wherever he's sitting right now and thinking, I don't have a bad pitching staff. Don't sleep on that. So, yeah, I think we've looked ahead. We've looked back. Let me bring something up just like for conversation's sake while it's on my head for a second. So, did anybody see? I guess we had a couple of games over the past week, over this weekend, where went into extra innings and then there was an explosion of offense. I want to say Houston put up like 7, another team put up like 5, and there was like a struggle going like in the first 9 innings of 3-3, I think was the score. No, whatever. There was an offensive issue. And then all of a sudden there was an explosion of offense. Number one, a couple of things that I've noticed about this, because case in point, the Braves, they went into and they brought in Raisel Iglesias, who is their closer, and they put him in the game before they went into extra innings. Make sure that's right. Pretty sure that's right. But what I'm getting at here is you put in somebody that is meant to close the game out, not to, what was it? They did it against the Pirates. Hernandez got the victory. Yeah. So they put him in. When did they put him in? Because it went to 10 innings. Yeah. So they put him in the 9th inning it was a home game anyways, but they put Raisel in the 9th inning. Why? Why are we doing that? I'm seeing this more and more. You're putting in your ace in a tied situation. Okay, I get it, because you're hoping that your offense is going to be able to actually wake the fuck up at the end. There's nobody that says that that's going to happen. You've already proven the previous 8 innings that your offense can't do anything in a 1-1 game. So then you put in your ace. Why are you wasting that opportunity? Again, I know you don't know the outcome. You're at home, but it doesn't make any sense to me. If you trust the guy before Raisel Iglesias, or you're trusting this Hernandez or whoever the hell you put in for a bigger high leverage situation in the 10th, I don't know. I don't understand the logic. I mean, now that I'm thinking and saying it out loud, I guess I kind of understand the logic, because again, you're putting your ace in at the top of the 9th. Yes, it's not a safe situation. And then you're hoping that your offense is going to do it. But I don't know. I don't see that being logical. I think you should just put in somebody in the 9th inning in a tie game, hoping still that your offense is going to do something, and just win you the game, save his arm for the next. And then if not, then you use him in the 10th inning and, so on and so forth. But again, we don't have a crystal ball, so we don't look ahead. But that was not actually what I wanted to talk about. What I wanted to talk about was we saw this explosion of offense over these past couple of games, and we typically see it when we go into the 10th inning. There's offense numbers. And I started thinking about it. Number one, it's for the reason that I just said. We're using up our top bullpen arms in the ninth inning. And then in the following innings, we don't have that ace guy. So you're losing a strong arm in the 10th, and you're also dealing with there's a guy at second, the ghost runner. And so each team then starts to approach trying to end the game in a different way. Laying down a bunt, advancing that runner from second to third. There's one out. Boom, there you go. Trying to then induce a fly ball. Boom, there it is. Why then, if this is the case, why are we not looking at the whole purpose of getting you there to a tie situation? Is because you didn't bat that way in the game. You didn't approach that game that way. You got so many people coming up there trying to tear the baseball off the cover instead of just going back to fundamental baseball. Why do we have the lineup? You put your fast, best, average hitter at first, at your first in your lineup. Okay? You put him on first, not on first. Well, technically, yes. But you put him number one in your lineup to get him over to first base at the top of the game because you want to establish if I get one run in, I now can rely on my pitcher to get us through 7, 8 innings with the lead, and then we hope to build off of that. Okay. But you get into a situation where you've had one run, case in point, the Braves. You had one run the entire time. You're getting runners on and you're not advancing them. You're leaving runners in scoring position because the guy that's coming up in Matt Olson or Austin Riley or Ozzie Albies are trying to tear the baseball off from into the stratosphere. They want to hit a home run. They're not playing old school baseball. Don't worry about trying to put the ball into Souvenir City. Worry about trying to put the ball in play. You've got so many gaps, so many spaces. Are you not professional baseball players? And I'm not just pointing out to the Braves, but I mean, we saw offensive numbers go through the roof over the weekend. And you're sitting there stymied, and then all of a sudden, it's like the 10th inning triggers for these managers old school baseball logic. You've got a guy on second. Well, no fucking shit, idiot. If you had a guy on first every inning and you tried advancing him another way and stop trying to have all these players crush the baseball and you played fundamental baseball. Ray and I were watching baseball this weekend and we're sitting there watching your Cardinals, okay? There is one out. Paul Goldschmidt just got out. One out. Brendan Donovan comes up with nobody on base and tries to lay down a bunt. What the fuck were you thinking? Why? What were you doing? What is the purpose of your bunt? You want to what? Just get another out? A bunt is almost, I wish I had the statistical numbers in front of me. A bunt is almost guaranteed an out. What is the purpose of a bunt? To advance the runner from the position of not being in scoring position to in scoring position. What the fuck were your team? What was your logic of that? Brendan Donovan, here we go. I'm going to bunt. Where? For what reason? You had nobody on first, nobody on second, and nobody on third. Who told this guy bunt? Paul Goldschmidt just got out. It was one out. What were we doing? There was nobody on first. I don't understand this logic of any of this. That's not old school baseball. That's dumb baseball. You have no reason to be laying down a bunt when there is no person on first or second. I did not understand it. I was like, what was he, what were we doing? They did this numerous times in that game where they were laying down a bunt. And then I want to say that game might have went into extras and they laid down a bunt and it advanced the runner, which is exactly what the purpose of the bunt is to do. You know that it's going to be an out. The purpose is send the runner in scoring position over. And I go back to, okay, we look at these 10th, 11th, 12th innings. Look at I want to say the Chicago White Sox and the Colorado Rockies. They went back and forth, back and forth. Houston. If we just used old school baseball logic in the first 7, 8 innings of a game, we might not be in these situations where we have to put this ghost runner on and then we trigger and go back to old school baseball. Get your base runner in the start of the game. Your number one, get him on first and then move his ass over to second. Either by, if he's a speedster, boom, send him there. We all know Kyle Schwarber is not a speedster, but he takes really good walks and he crushes the ball. Again, that's not old school baseball. You crush the ball, boom, there it is, 1-0. But it works because if he crushes the ball, you're up 1-0 now. And then who do they put behind him? Usually Trey Turner. That to me is kind of genius, if you will, on the Phillies' part. And I hate saying that, but hey, put Aaron Judge first. There you go. Again, that would go back to put his ass on first. Just go ahead. We can double up on him. Put his ass on first, and then Anthony Volpe is going to strike out. I benched that guy the other day. Benched him. And he went 0 for 5. He had an opportunity for a grand slam, and that motherfucker struck out. Anyways, that was just my thing. So I wanted to share this with y'all, and it's over here to my left. And I know you guys might not really care about this. So I went to Ray decided to celebrate my Father's Day when I got back over this previous weekend. And we went perusing around, and I always forget about this store, but it's what is the name of the store? I don't remember it either. What is the name of it? See, I told you I always forget about it because I forget their fucking name. But they have these mystery boxes of like signature items or just game memorabilia. And I know, I just think it's really cool. This is a broken bat, and it's Donovan Solano's. I didn't know that they put their names on their bat, but I think that is really freaking cool. It's a broken bat that he had in the game. You can see here where he broke it. And then with the broken bat, you also got 3 signed baseballs. Now, call me crazy, but I did not know that this was how you actually looked up authenticated items. So, I know, call me crazy, but I looked it up. So, each authenticated baseball, so for instance, if you go to a baseball game and you catch a foul ball and you want it authenticated, you need to go take the foul ball and go find an MLB official representative and have them authenticate the baseball. And what they simply will do is they will give you a sticker, put it on the baseball, and label it as to like, who did the foul ball come from? And that makes it, I don't want to say it makes it more valuable, but it just proves to all the people. Because I have a baseball that Nolan Syndergaard threw me. That's only for Ray and I and the person who witnessed it. It's not authenticated that, Noah Syndergaard, my God, is the one that threw it to me, because it wasn't authenticated and put into an actual record database. It will be recorded. And so there's a number down at the bottom of the QR code. You can't really scan the QR code. I think you need like one of their system things, but I tried scanning it. But you basically go to the website, you punch in that number, and you see who autographed it. So this one was Donovan Solano's. So I got a Donovan Solano, who is currently, actually, if you don't know, he's playing for the Padres. He's bounced around the league, and this was, I don't remember when the broken bat was, but I'm pretty sure it was when he was playing with the Marlins. But I got 3 signed baseballs. Now, one of them was from a player I have honestly never heard of, but I thought this one was cool because he started his career in Atlanta, and this is Jared Saltalamacchia. I thought that was pretty neat. Now, what I also thought was neat was I Googled Jared Saltalamacchia. Did you know, fun-filled fact, that he actually went back after he graduated high school in 2004 and married his PE coach? Yeah, like he graduated high school, then started dating her in his freshman year in college. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Then I looked her up. She's 53. He's only 39. Woo! Talk about robbing the cradle, baby. But they both say that there was nothing physical going on while he was in school. And then this guy right here, I have no idea who this guy is. I can't even remember his name, but he played for the Marlins. When I looked it up, it was like Radubala something or another. But, so got an autographed baseball of a player I've never even heard of. And he probably did great things, but never heard of him. But anyways, I just wanted to share that with y'all as a baseball fan. I thought that was pretty cool. You get to, it's like Christmas. You open it up and you're like, oh, who is it? And then boom, you find out who it is, and then you can research who signed the baseball and stuff. So anyways, I've gone way too long. This was one of the longest ones that I've done. Yeah, it's about 50 some odd minutes, almost an hour long. I appreciate you guys sticking around. I hope that things were conversation starters. And happy belated birthday to Eric. He celebrated his birthday on Saturday. We all said happy birthday to him. Hey, welcome to July 1st. We made it. We're in July now. We will have the All-Star break coming up. I think it's kind of funny that we're like 3 weeks away and they've only gotten one commitment to the home run derby, and that is who was that? Gunnar? Was it Gunnar Henderson that announced that he's going? I think it was him. But like so many people are saying, nah, or they're unhealthy, can't do it. I believe Aaron Judge said, nah. Shohei Ohtani said, if I'm cleared, I might do it, but this will be interesting. And there's new rules. I just read that this morning. There's new rules. Every batter will get 40 pitches. So that'll be interesting to watch. I enjoy the home run derby. I don't ever really watch the All-Star game. And I really don't like it for fantasy. You're just sitting there waiting for fantasy to come back on. And then when it does, you almost sometimes forget to set your roster. But the thing that is most exciting about All-Star Week is once it's done, that's when players start coming back, like either from injury or they're just on a rehab assignment and they're just leaving them down there to build up their strength. So I just really enjoy that too. I'm sorry, Ray. I'll get off the damn thing. My bad. Sorry. Goodbye, everybody. Have a good week. Happy July 4th. Thank you. Independence Day. There's no baseball today, too, man. Where the fuck is the baseball games? Sucks. Nobody. It's the motherfucker player. Hey.